Hello, and welcome to my Pokemon Journey to episode 107, Help Us Big Brother Yamper review. So we finally have another lab episode, which is pretty cool. Just getting to see how Pokemon are getting on and whatever narrative they have going on. So this episode is really just sort of about Yamper and what he does, because for some reason he's not Kaharu's Pokemon yet. The boys are just looking after a Pokemon, and Kaharu comes along to take some pictures for the lab. And they kind of all get caught up in what Yamper's doing for the day. Yamper is friendly with a whole bunch of Go's Pokemon and helps them out with their problems. So for example, Grookey's really worried and sad because it's lost his stick. So Yamper goes off to find a stick for him. Or Heracross has fallen for Lilligant again, so Yamper helps out Pinsir by getting Pampor to come along and douse it with water, which snaps Heracross out of it. The main problem they have to deal with is the water being polluted, as it's causing water Pokemon to be in trouble. It's making Pokemon that play near the rocks play elsewhere, which is causing fights, things like that. So Group trace the source of this pollution, and it's just Grimer chilling in the water, which takes Yamper talking to it to get it to come out. I really like that this is seen as a pretty simple misunderstanding, and it's happy enough to go back to its cave where it originally lived, and we get to see that Grimer gave its home to Froakie, since Froakie is a new arrival. I really like this. They're taking advantage of Go's new capture to create a story at the lab, but at least it's something a bit more, and makes there be a friendship between Grimer and Froakie, which isn't really something you would expect, but it's just so cute seeing Froakie play around on Grimer. The solution is to make Grimer a new home, which is creating a little pool for it with the help of Go's Pokemon, and as they need to fill it up, that's when we finally get a return of Go's Suicune. It most certainly feels like a random episode to bring it back in, but I actually really ended up loving this moment as it summons rain and purifies the water for all the other Pokemon by walking along it. It helps everyone get back to normalcy, and if Suicune hadn't got involved, then purifying the water wouldn't have been easy. But as Grimer enters its new home, that's when Suicune comes before Yamper and really acknowledges it and its efforts of doing its best to rule Pokemon in the park. And what really gets me is how happy Suicune seems. While we haven't seen it since its capture, this is Suicune's home, and it chipped in when it needed to maintain the peace. Yamper was the star of this episode, but Suicune came very close, being just as cool. And as the group end their day, they reflect on Kaharu's photos. However, as they do, Ash gets a notification that he's got an upcoming battle with Raihan, a Dragon-type gym leader, said to be as strong as a champion, rank 8 in the Masters 8. If Ash wins this, he'll be in the Masters 8, and that's the end of the episode. I was so happy to get another lab episode. It's always just fun catching up with Go's captures, and they used Froakie in a really cool way that essentially just set off a chain of events by getting Grimer to move, which frustrated Pokemon like Bruxus and Pyukumuku, which annoyed the rock Pokemon, which got them to move to a bunch of Route 1 Mons and start fighting. It's just a domino effect really, and no one's really even wrong for it. It's not like the episode where the Pokemon have a war over food and forming gangs to fight. It really just shows how a disturbance to a habitat can really mess with the creatures that live in it. And I guess it makes sense for Suicune to be used in the way that helps restore that habitat. Yeah, it didn't build a rock pool for Grimer, but it helped fill it and made the water safe for everyone else. That's what Legendary should do. But really, this episode is about Yamper, and it's sort of disappointing in that regard. It's definitely taken up the role that Ash's Bulbasaur has at Oak's lab, being the big brother of Pokemon there, helping to keep people in line. But I don't necessarily think it necessarily feels that earned, since we don't really get to see Yamper that much to make it understandable why he would have gained enough respect to be the go-to Pokemon for a lot of Go's Pokemon. It arguably makes sense though, since it spends basically all the time at the lab, but since it's unseen, it just left a little bit to be desired for me. That being said, I did enjoy getting to see Yamper again, and I don't hate the role for it. I've given up hope that Kaharu will receive it from Sakuragi, so the fact it has a focus episode after Kaharu and Eevee meet all the evolutions is kind of hilarious, but it needs something going on, and I can at least buy that's why Yamper wouldn't join Kaharu on her adventures. So yeah, I like this episode a lot.